want to look at accounting for cooperative society. Accounts and records shall be maintained by a cooperative society in these formats. Members' PASSBOOK. It serves as a personal account on which all transactions between a member and the society are recorded. Front page sample. You have the name of the cooperative, the dates it was issued, the name of a member, the address, and the number. Inside page sample, you have the date, particular, debit in naira, credit in naira, balance in naira, and remands. If a member made a contribution, the date will be captured. Under the particular, you have shares and savings, and it will be credited, and that money will be added to the previous balance to have the correct balance. If you made any withdrawal, the date will also be captured. The money will be debited and will be deducted from the previous balance to have the current balance. Back page sample. PASSBOOK will be bought by a new member or when exhausted. While in the hands of the member, it must be carefully preserved and produced when required. Loan and fixed deposits are distinct transactions and are not entered in the member's PASSBOOK. Analysis book. For recording member contribution, loan refund, fine and other income on monthly basis. Analysis book sample. You have Mr. John, who pays 10 as entrance, 100 as shares, 70 as savings, 5 as fine, and the total payment is 185. Then you have the column 50, 470, 290. All this money will be transferred to cash book. Cash receipts. All money received, whether in cash or in check, must be supported by an official receipt as an evidence. Cash receipt sample. This is a typical cash receipt sample. Cash book. For recording all financial transactions, either in cash or in checks of the society, which include all receipts and payment and show balances. Cash book sample. This is a typical example of a cash book. General ledger. This book contains individual accounts for transactions of a business organization, e.g., bank charges, telephone expense sample. This is a typical example of a telephone expense sample. Personal ledger. For recording members' contributions of shares, savings, deposits, withdrawal, and loan and refund. Personal ledger sample. You have the serial number of the member, the date of admission, member's name, date of cessation, and signature. This is a typical example of personal ledger sample. You have the date, particular reference, under the shares, debit credit balance, under the savings, debit credit balance, total fine, under the loan, debit credit balance. You have the loan interest, under the deposits, debit credit balance, and authentication. Loan bond. This is already written loan agreement which member completes when fund is advanced to them as loan. Loan bond sample. This is a typical example of a loan bond sample. Back page sample of a loan bond. This is also a typical example of a back page sample of a loan bond. Loan register. It's a short document containing information regarding all loan granted at any particular time. This is a typical example of loan register. We have Mr. Joan. He applied for 1,000. He was granted 1,000. Mr. Fred applied for 1,005. He was granted 1,000. So, payment voucher is prepared to support payment in many organizations for recording all money paid out from cooperative to meet expense. Payment voucher sample is a typical example of a payment voucher sample. Minute book is a minute book. There's a minute book in every proceeding of a general and management committee meeting. Minute book sample is a typical example of minute book sample. Annual financial reports. This is a report to be submitted to the General House at the annual general meeting. It has to be extracted from the books of accounts. Number one is statement of income and expenditure account for the year ended, say, 30th November 2018. This is a typical example of statement of income and expenditure. At the end here, you have surplus. Surplus is total revenue minus total expenses. You don't have surplus. In cooperative, we don't say profit, we say surplus. And how it is appropriated based on the bylaw. Statement of financial position as at 30th November 2018. This is a typical example of a statement of financial position. You have membership fund of 5,000. Statement of cash flow for the year ended 30th November 2018. This is a typical example of statement of cash flow. Thank you for listening. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel.